my name is Chrissy and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review of The Duchess Deal by Tessa. Now, this is a Regency romance novel that has quickly jumped up to one of my favorites. So it's in top contention with The Kiss Quotient and The Hating Game, which I think makes it pretty good. So let's get into it. The Duchess Deal features two characters, Emma and Ash, and I call him Ash because his name is very confusing. And he's called Ash in the book, like his given name is George, but then he's the Duke of Ashbury, and he could be called this other name that I forgot already. It starts with, I think, a P. But anyway, we call him Ash here, apparently because we never use George. I don't know. Anyway, these two characters. Ash is looking for a wife, and because his fiance that he did have, they broke off their engagement, and so he's looking for someone to give him an heir to, his dukedom. And Emma is a character who is a seamstress who got kicked out of her father's house, like she was I think, vicar's daughter. Please correct me down in the comments if I pronounced that wrong. I probably did. But she got kicked out of her father's house for, having a fling at one point. And so she was kicked out and she had to become a seamstress in order to feed herself. Well, the book starts out with Emma going to the Duke of Ashbury, so Ash's house, and wearing this wedding gown that she had made for the Duke's fiancé. And she's trying to get money for the work that she put into it because, it's a lot of work and she's about to become homeless unless she gets the money to pay for her rent. And that scene alone, the first chapter of this book, had me in stitches. Like, I was just laughing throughout the whole exchange because apparently the dress is really atrocious looking to Ash, and he's just like, what is this? And so I have a quote of what he thinks about the dress right here. He leaned forward in his chair. I can't even take the whole thing in. It looks like unicorn vomit, or the pelt of some snow beast, rumored to menace the Himalayas. I laughed when I read that, admittedly. I was just like, I could imagine the dress in question, even just from that few sentences. What's great about this book is that the characters are very well suited to each other. Like, Ash is this grumpy man who is grumpy for a good reason, though. Like, he used to be this handsome, dashing fellow, and then he went to war, and he fought in a war, and he ended up getting, cannonballed at some point, or, explosives hit him in some way, and he got really scarred up bad, so he does not look the same as he did, and this is one of the reasons why his fiancée couldn't get married to him, is because she couldn't really look at him the same anymore, and Ash didn't want to, marry someone who looked at him all the time. So Ash is a bit bitter out of all of those things, and he lost a lot of his friends, so he's this lonely duke, and he's very resentful and bitter, and just mean to everyone. And then Emma is this gal who has had to be resilient in her life because, as I said, she got kicked out when she was young, when she was, I think, 16, and she had to become a seamstress, and so she had to deal with a lot of different types of people. She had to deal with a lot of different types of nobility and everything and their snootiness. So she's pretty thick-skinned towards all of that, and she's still nice. She's still a nice person, and she's still good and kind-hearted. But I thought it was great, and I have a little paragraph here of what the Duke says to Emma that kind of sums up their relationship in a nutshell. Miss Gladstone, you don't seem to understand how this whole intruding on a Duke's solitude business works. You should be intimidated, if not terrified. Yet there's an appalling lack of hand-wringing in your demeanor, and no trembling whatsoever. Are you certain you're merely a seamstress? I just loved that part. I thought that was really funny. And I think that it just summarizes those two characters in such a good and solid way. The romance between the two, I thought, was done really well, that it grew naturally. They are in this marriage of convenience at the beginning, because Ash is trying to look for a bride for his heir, and Emma just happens to need, money. And also she's doing it because one of her customers is pregnant, and she's trying to find a way to protect that customer because that person is a part of nobility. So there's that too. And I'll get to that here in a little bit more of a minute. But yeah, so these two characters really fit one another, and their romance is just really nice to read. because ultimately they fall in love with each other because they're nice to each other. And I put nice with an asterisk on Ash's side because he's not so much nice to Emma, but he does treat her better, I think, than he treats most people. I'm going with that. About the customer and friend that Emma is trying to protect. As I said, she's pregnant and her father doesn't know she's pregnant yet, and Emma wants to save her from, people knowing and her father getting mad and all that kind of goodness. And so Emma and her friend Davina are talking with each other, and Emma asks, like, what precautions did you take to, not get pregnant? And I loved Davina's response. It was, all the usual ones. After it was done, I jumped up and down for 10 minutes, sniffed paper to make myself sneeze 3 times, and drank a full teacup of vinegar. I did everything right. I said, this book had me in stitches. When I read that part, I just about died. I was like, I can just imagine some gal thinking that that is what you need to do to not get pregnant. And it was wonderful to read. So yes, this book has quickly become one of my favorites. I will be reading more of Tessa Dare's work. It's really good. As far as intimate scenes go, Tessa Dare does use a lot more euphemisms than not, but I didn't find them to be distracting. Like, some of the euphemisms I was like, But for the most part, they were just, well done scenes. I thought that they made the point of the intimacy without making it uber awkward like I would. Have you read any of Tessa Dare's works? If you have, tell me about the ones that you have read. Is there one that I should put above the others? Is there a series I should look into more so than the others? By all means, please let me know. I'm excited to read more of her work. Thank you so much for watching, and as always and forever, may you get lost in a book.